Brandon here with Southern Style Off-Road. Gonna show you today how to install the rear bumper TrailGator on a 5th-gen 4Runner. This customer opted for the spare tire swing arm. It comes assembled, shipped like this, so cut some time out of the install. So. Alright, first you need to take off your rear bumper, of course, your bumper cover, I guess. It's just a big plastic cover. You got a few 10mm screws, the clips all the way around. Just go around, making sure you got everything. Next, take the retainer, the bumper retainer off right here. Just 3 10mm screws that you take out. Alright, next we will have to cut these off. Just right there, kind of flush with the actual bumper framing right there. And then after that, we'll unbolt the factory trailer hitch. Your rubber exhaust holder, we'll have to take that off. Just let the exhaust kind of hang just to get out of your way. The factory trailer hitch plug, we will unbolt that, and there's a relocate that we have included. And then the factory tow hook right here, you'll have to unbolt these, just take it off, get it out of your way too. We're gonna take the factory hitch receiver off. There's 4 17mm bolts on the side right here, and then 2 on the bottom on each side of it. 1 on the other side in the same spot. Alright, next we're going to cut out your bumper framing for your integrated trailer hitch. So what we're going to do, there's a template if you want to cut it out and tape it up or whatever, but I decided I would prefer to measure. So we're going to measure up from the bottom 3.5 inches. Mark it at 3.5. Then from this hole out on each side, you're gonna measure over 1.5 inches. So pop your tape measure in there like that. Measure over 1.5 inches, mark it. All right, once we get our marks made, grab a square or a straight edge at least. If you do get a straight edge, make sure you mark 2 lines, 1.5 inches on each side. That way you can get a good straight line. All right, once you get your lines made, you're gonna cut up on this line, and then on this line. And then get it to where you can just meet this line, and then you start in the middle on this line and just work your way in until you reach those outer lines where you made your cuts. All right, in order to get the bottom and the back cut, what I'm gonna do is line up a piece of painter's tape or whatever kind of tape you prefer. Get it on your straight line in the front, and then wrap the tape around all the way until you get back around, and make sure it's lined up straight all the way around. There's no bends or anything in your tape, so you know it's a nice straight line. Now, we'll just follow this all the way up. And then again, you're gonna measure 3.5 inches in the back going up, and just draw your line. And then when you cut on the back, just when you get to that line, you stop, and then make your cut like this, just like the front side, but on the back side. All right, once you do got it cut, take your hammer. It is pretty thick. There's 2 layers of metal right here that you gotta get through. Basically, you're just cutting out this cylindrical piece of metal. So take your hammer, you can beat on it. It might give you some trouble, but when you are making your cuts, go pretty deep, because like I said, there are 2 layers right here that you need to get through. And then on the bottom, of course, you can see that there's four layers on the bottom, but it's not too bad. Your little square plate should be included with your kit, with your bumper. What that's for is to plate the back like that. You don't have to, but we are going to do it on this. You can just leave it off. And I mean, the hitch in the bumper goes through here. So this is just kind of, I don't know, reinforcement, if you would like to call it that. So we're gonna weld this plate on. Make sure you get your grinder wheel or flap wheel and clean up the edges, bevel it off maybe a little bit, and get it welded on there. All right, once you got your edges on the backside all cleaned up, go ahead and tack your corners and tack one corner in place, kind of get it level. Tack your other corner. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's not gonna be seen, so just do your best with it. And after that's done, now we're just gonna make sure everything's clear on the back framing part. That way the bumper will slide on. So these will be those 2 on each side, these little plates, 3 12 millimeter bolts holding them on. Just undo those, toss those to the side. And also your camera, or I'm sorry, your trailer pin bracket will be kind of positioned down like this. So you're gonna unbolt that. It is 2 12 millimeter bolts. It's gonna be relocated to the back with the supplied hardware and spacer. So you're gonna put the spacer behind this bottom hole and then thread it into the welded nut inside this back frame portion. All right, once you get some friends over here to help you install it or slide it onto the rear bumper frame, you're gonna want to thread in these center holes first, just on the side of the trailer hitch, just to get it to stay and hang. And once you get that, we're gonna go around and put in the bigger bolts on the side frame over here. And then we'll get it nice and centered, make sure everything lines up right. All right, once you got the bumper on, centered, it helps have, you know, another set of eyes kind of looking, and one underneath to tighten and loosen what you need. Get it centered the best you can. You do want a little gap on each side, of course, for body movement. You know, if it was tight, it would hit the body and scratch it, and you don't want that. So there is a little gap for a reason. On both sides, you want those kind of equal, or the best you can at least. Tighten all your bolts up, torque them down. These back here and the bottom ones right here. Get those tightened, and now we'll go over installing the ladder, your centerpiece for this gap right in here, and that's it. All right, we're gonna do the ladder now. Of course, it's gonna go on the driver's side. Take your ladder brackets right here. So they're gonna go with the slanted angle going up. Take your supplied hardware, button head, bolts. You wanna keep these kind of loose. Don't snug them up yet. Forget this bracket, L-shaped bracket included, of course, comes with the button head bolt. All right, get your ladder, and you got your brackets right here. Kind of line them up. Put your ladder legs into the brackets. Line them up first. There we go. Find your holes. once you got your bolts ran through, just kind of, you know, you can move it side to side right now. Get this lined up. Putting your other button head bolt through it, going to the ladder. This will keep it nice and steady. Once you got all your hardware tightened and the ladder on, kind of get it where you want it. Of course, this bracket will only let you move so much, but get it kind of level and lined up with everything you want, and then tighten all your bolts down. Once you get all those bolts tightened down there, take these rubber button head stops right here against your window. Firm them up against the window so it's not going to be moving around so much. Okay, now you got your ladder on. Now you also have a nice tailgate to sit on while you do all this. Take your edge trim, supplied edge trim. Go ahead and measure out how much you need for each of these brackets sticking up. So what I do is I put it on, put my finger where it needs to be cut, take you some snips. Just like that. Do that on each one. All right, once you got your edge trim on, take this edge trim off your door seal. We're gonna be looking for these 10mm bolts right here for your filler piece. Mount it up to the bolt holes, and it should slide right into place. There we go. There. Start your bolts in. Bolt these in, put your edge trim back on, and then we'll be done with that part. You can also make sure this is kind of centered up a little bit too. All right, now that you got your bumper on, we'll give you a little rundown on how to get all your latches and everything out. So this, grab it, pull it up, swing it out of the way. You got your latch over here that'll button down into place once that's where it needs to be. So this is kind of simultaneously thing to do. Pull this out, let it go, and then it'll kind of smack in on its own in its own hole. There's your tailgate. Now it's time for a tailgate party. All right guys, thanks for tuning in, watching our install video on the 5th Gen TrailGator bumper install. Tell us what you think. Comment, like, subscribe to our videos.